Happy Tuesday, boys and girls. All right, I'm going to continue reading The One and Only Bob. Today's going to be a little bit different. We're not putting events. I'm going to ask you um, a couple questions and you're going to find the answers. So I hope you listen to my recording because I'm reading it so I know which questions I'm going to ask. So find a comfy spot, sit back. We're in The One and Only Bob. Here we go. Not moving. I'm going to find a comfy spot. I know that hand like the back of my own paw. No, Ruby screams. Uncle Ivan. I check the crowd. No sign of Julia or George. Nothing. No Maya either or other keepers I recognize. Just a few employees, several rescue workers, or two or three dazed looked visitors. Is he alive? A firefighter asks. Hand, whatever it's called, it's not moving, says another. Weaving my way through the tangle of the legs, I climb up on the rumble pile, sniff a bit, and bark my loudest. Yes, he's alive. Get your rears in gear. Just like that overachieving rescue dog in the Man's Best Friend show, I listen for a sound from Ivan, a grunt, a cry for help. Nothing. Still, he smells alive. At least I think he does. And that's good enough for me. Xena? Although dog races are over, a tough looking German shepherd wearing an impressive glow in the dark vest and some booty things to protect her feet from the rubble, but I hold my ground. This is my friend that we're talking about. I lick Ivan's hand, his fingers twitch. Well, that's all it takes to get us both barking like maniacs. More people gather, and I see Maya next to Ruby, which makes me feel better. Name's Xena, says the shepherd, Bob. I nudge Ivan's fingers with my nose. Nothing. And this is Ivan, my best bud. Sorry to hear, she replies. I don't like the sound of her voice. With great care and far too slowly for my taste, the rescue workers begin removing the chunks of wreckage and tossing them to the side. Xena and me were mostly stay out of the way, but every so often I lick Ivan's hand just so that he knows I've got him covered. I glance over at Maya and Ruby, and Maya is wiping tears from her eyes while she strokes Ruby's ears. Ruby is giving Maya a comforting trunk hug. Good old Ruby. Wise beyond her years, that gal. I check the crowd again. Still no sign of Julia or George, and that's when a sickening thought hits me like a bite to the belly. What if Ivan isn't the only one under the rubble? Dragon. More police cars and ambulance arrive at the park, and a handful of keepers stream in too, looking frantic and confused. The weirdest thing of all, wandering through all the destruction, are random park residents. Animals, birds, reptiles. Residents who most definitely do not belong in the gorilla world. A police officer is chasing an armadillo. A blue heron watches the mayhem from her position atop a giraffe statue. A wallaby pokes his nose out of a bush, his saucer eyes catching the fire engine lights. Nets! Someone calls. We need more nets! An older gentleman holding a blue umbrella lays out a blood-curdling scream. Dragon! He cries. I swear to you, I just saw a baby dragon. Sir, says the keeper. No worries. That's actually a Gila monster, and his name is Hillian. A paramedic raises his hand. They have like venom, don't they? They say a healthy adult won't die from it, although they might be in some serious pain. Wonderful, the paramedic mutters. I glance over my shoulder and see Sarah running toward Maya. I can't hear her words, but I definitely can see the worry in her eyes. Xena's ears tip forward. They're getting the cutters out and the jaws of life. Jaws? I repeat. I don't like the sound of it. It spreads metal. They're probably getting close. Come on, we need to get out of their way. I ain't going anywhere. I hear ya, she says, and I can tell from the weary sound of her voice that she's had this conversation before. But the best thing for Ivan right now is to let the humans do their thing. I think about it. Figure she's right. I give his fingers one last lick, and they don't move. Nothing. Nada. We pick our way to the bottom of the debris pile. Hang in there, Ivan, I call. We love you, buddy. I know it's crazy, but I listen anyways, hoping for a sign, any sign, that he is still with us. Bugging. I run to Kiani. Don't worry, I tell her. He's going to make it. I can tell she doesn't believe me. From there, I head to Maya and Sarah and Ruby. Maya has a radio set in one hand and for some reason a young squirmy meerkat in the other. Sarah kneels down and hugs me tighter than any sweater she's ever knit. Bob, she cries, what happened to your nose? And look at your paw. Some dogs don't like to be hugged that way. I am one of them. But Sarah still needs to do it, and I can tell somehow, so I let her. It isn't so bad, really. Loose. A new police officer joins us, Officer Williams. She nods at Maya. You're with the park, right? Yes, I'm Maya. This, Officer Williams pauses. We need to get this under control ASAP. Winds are going to pick up, and we haven't even hit the eye. The storm surge could be an issue. This one is moving slow. We've got a skeleton staff here, says Maya, as the meerkat attempts to eat her earring. Early reports say maybe a third of the habitats are damaged or destroyed. She shakes her head. We've got some injuries, too, possibly fatalities, too. Human? I don't think so. A fatality is a death. Anything loose that could be, a problem. Maya presses her lips together. Yep. Such as a couple Florida panthers, gray wolves, pythons maybe, possibly an alligator or two. American alligators, not Chinese. I don't care if they're from Canada. If they can eat people, we're in trouble. Well, they don't, typically. Typically, Officer William repeats. Well, that's really reassuring. Sarah loosens her grip over me slightly. Maya, she asks, her voice trembling, have you ever heard anything on the radio from George and Julia? I keep calling them, but the cell towers are down. Nothing yet, Maya says, but I am sure they are fine. The nearest shelters over at the Lincoln Elementary say Officer William. Could you check over there? Sarah frowns. They're probably here right before the tornado hit. We're searching the park, ma'am, says the officer. We'll find them. If they're here. Everybody clears out. A firefighter with a megaphone yells from a spot near Ivan. Could be in danger of more collapse. We're working on this last metal beam. I look to see if Ivan's fingers are moving. Nothing. Hold on, Ivan! I yelled. Nothing. Nothing is the worst sound in the world. Oh, sometimes nothing is the worst sound in the world. Ruby lets out a little elephant cry, and then I realize that maybe that's the worst sound in the world. CPR. The winds die down to a whisper, as if the world is holding its breath down for the rest of us. Do you have any vets standing by? Says Officer Williams, as two more ambulances screech to a halt nearby. Yes, Maya says. Not sure if they'll get here, though. Officer Williams waves down an ambulance crew member. Have you ever given CPR to a gorilla? Primate's primate, I guess, he says, but he doesn't look so sure. What's going on? Well, we're waiting on equipment, but we're stretched pretty thin. Lots of structural damage on the north side of town, says Officer Williams. They are going to get a chain on the last beam and try to pull it free with one of the cars. Somebody's under there? A gorilla, we think. Not sure what else, or who else. I look at all the cement, all the wood and the metal. Nobody could survive that. Not even a silverback gorilla with the strength of 8 men. And yet, Ivan's fingers moved. And then they didn't. Several minutes pass. The rain slows a bit along with the wind, and the crowd watches as 3 firefighters attach a long chain to the metal beam next to Ivan. They hook it to the tow bar of the rear of a police car. Back up, folks, calls the guy on the megaphone. Farther! The chain clanks and the car growls and the wheels squeal, grinding and groaning. Progress, just a bit. The big chunk of metal has definitely moved a whisker or two. More grinding. The wheels dig holes in the ground. Mud flies like thick brown rain. A lurch, a snap. Clanks and rumbles as the big beam jerks free. The rescue workers move in, digging with their bare hands. Cement and dust and metal and bits and pieces of Gorilla World are everywhere. But where is Ivan? No! No movement. Nothing. But after a few minutes, one thing is clear. A gorilla-shaped mound has appeared, covered by dust and dirt and debris and splattered with rain. It just lies there. I've lost a lot in my life. My whole family. Stella. But Ivan? No, it can't happen. Not Ivan. A miracle. The mound sits up. Gorilla ghost. Ivan emerges from a cloud of dust like a jumbo-sized ghost. He blinks several times, coughs, shakes, stretches a little. He's holding a banana, in which he proceeds to eat. Everyone, and I do mean everyone, cheers. Wolf on the run. I scramble over to Ivan, and he gives me that look that says, "You're the best, Bob." "I thought you were a goner," I say, licking some banana off of his chin. "Me too," Ivan says, a little dazed. His eyelashes were still white with dust. "What happened anyways?" "A tornado." "Is Ruby okay? Kiani? Julia? George?" "I haven't seen Julia or George yet. Kiani's over there carrying on." A paramedic holding a box of medical equipment approaches us nervously. "I've got this," calls a woman as I recognize the park as one of the park veterinarians. The paramedic looks so happy to step aside. The vet gently but firmly pushes me out of the way. "I'll be back," I tell Ivan. I run to Kiani. He's good, totally good. The look of joy in her eyes makes me want to give her an affectionate nose nudge. Almost. From there, I joined Ruby and Maya. "I was so scared, Bob," Ruby whispers. "Me too," I admit. "Me too. But he's fine, I promise." We watch a pair of otters dart past, chased by a guy with a net, and one of the firefighters who had been clearing debris yells, "We're clear here." No sign of any other victims. Sarah closes her eyes and I can smell her relieved tears, while Maya listens to her walkie-talkie trying to stalk the damage of the park. Officer Williams' police radio hisses and crackles with new problems, new floodings, new dire predictions. "Copy that," she says into her radio. Even with the chaos and the noise, I'm close enough to the radio to catch the tiny sound of frantic barking. "We got a unit reporting the animal shelters down the streets flooding," Officer Williams says. "Also, we've got a trailer park damage on 12th Street and the Oak down on Nelson Avenue blocking traffic, and a big rig overturned near the fairgrounds. And that's just for starters." Out of the corner of my eye, I notice something airborne. It's a graceful and bold and huge like a wingless bird. The crowd gasps. It's Kimu. He lands on the hood of the officer's squad car. His eyes are glazed and his coat wet and shimmery. "We've got a 1091 here," Officer Williams whispers into her receiver. "Confirmed. Seems there's a wolf on top of your vehicle." Slowly, she reaches for her pistol on her hip. "Please advise." Shots fired. Several officers raise their guns, and the tranquilizer dart guy aims too. "No!" Maya yells. "No guns!" Kimu blinks, eyes darting right and left, and then leaps off the car with such grace and speed it's like he owns the wind. 2 shots ring out, and silence falls. "Was he hit?" someone asks. Maya closes her eyes. "I sure hope not." "I sure hope so," somebody else says. Jungle. As I watched that leap, I watched Kimu fly. I didn't know what to think. Part of me was like, go for it, dude. And the other part of me was thinking, it's a jungle out there. Situation. Officer William climbs onto the picnic table. Someone hands her a megaphone so she can be heard over the din. Folks, she yells, listen up. We've got a handful of animal control workers coming over, but several roads are already flooded out, and the weather guys are saying that Gus is going to take his sweet time. Meantime, park supervisors, call in for more help, but only if your workers can get here safely. The unmistakable roar of a big cat rolls over us like a slow thunder. Any more trank guns? Officer Williams says to the park director who just arrived. I have 3 in reserve, she answers. Nets? Oh, we have a dozen. Okay then. Officer Williams' radio crackles. I can hear more shouting, more barking dogs. Shelters flooding, she says. Yep, that's happened there before, the director says. Usually just a foot or 2 of water. Okay, public safety is where we start, Officer William wipes rain from her forehead. We need to get word out that these animals are on the loose. Of course, says the director. We have protocols in place, but we need to be careful on how we word this. People might overreact. Might. Ma'am, a firefighter erupts. I see a python in my backyard. I'm sure as heck gonna react over that one. First things first, said Officer Williams. Triage in the main office. Check wreckages for any survivors, human or animal. Fan out the trank guns. Get an inventory on how many animals are loose. I wonder how it's possible that Officer Williams can seem so composed. The air reeks with fear, and from animals, birds, and people, and from me. And yet she doesn't seem worried about herself, just other people. Weird the way some humans stick with their necks out for others. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Again, the crackle, the hiss, the barking. My ears perk up for a minute. Was that a familiar voice? Maybe someone I know in the slammer? I'm going to go to the shelter at the elementary school, Sarah says. Her hands are trembling, but her voice is firm. To look for George and Julia, just in case. She strokes my head, and I'm happy to let her. I wonder if I could tag along with her to see if I can help out. Now that I know Ivan and Ruby are safe. Hiss, crackle, meow, bark. I hear it again. My ears go on alert, and my body goes rigid. No, it's impossible. Never. Some barks you never forget. One place. I know what I have to do. Despite the turmoil all around me, the noises, the smells, the fears, the confused humans, the frantic animals, despite my worry about George and Julia, I know there's one place I need to be. A split second. I want to tell Ivan and Ruby, but Ivan is still being poked at by the rhymes with pet threat. Although, come to think of it, she doesn't seem like she's that much of a threat. In a movie, she'd be one of those good guys. To my annoyance, Sarah picks me up. I hate being picked up unless it's my idea, and then it's totally cool. Maya, she says, you let me know. First sign of George and Julia, okay? Promise, says Maya, and she places her hand on Sarah's shoulder. Humans always with the touching, although I kind of get it under the circumstances. You can't take Bob to a school shelter. They're not allowing any more pets, Maya points out, and the animal shelter is flooding, it sounds like. Why don't you just leave him here? I'll put him in my office. He'll be safe. No way. No way is that on my agenda. Sarah nods. Good idea. She starts to hand me over, but hesitates when she realizes Maya still has a meerkat wrapped around her neck. It's just a split second. Just a split second is all it takes to escape when you're Bob, untamed and undaunted. On my way. Bob! Sarah cries. Grab that dog! Maya yells. I spent a good time of my life running from a certain guy named Mac, and I still have my moves. I twist and spin and dip, and before you can say, "Yes, sir, Bob," they have given up. I backtrack, slip under a bench, and make my way to Ruby. "Ruby," I whisper, "I gotta go. Something important's come up. You and Ivan, see if you can find Julia and George." "I want to come," Ruby says, stomping her right foot in a huge puddle. "You need to keep an eye on Ivan," she says. "I am sure Kiani doesn't drive him loco with all her sobbing. I'll be right back. You know it." I don't wait for an answer. I am off in the wild and in a world filled with wind and rain and wolves and alligators, with a voice that could rip my heart in two. Okay, and that is the end of part 2 for the one and only Bob. Tomorrow we'll start part 3, and I'll divide it by 3 because we have 3 days. We'll have 3 days left of school: Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I'll divide those pages by 3. Good thing I know my division skills, right? All right, now you're going to answer the 3 questions that I posted on the one and only Bob slide. Good luck. I hope you were listening.